Welcome back to the Get Past Your Shit Group Coaching Intensive. Before we continue, I do want to ask, does anybody have any follow-up ahas, insights, or questions on any of the home fun that you've done? Going through doing a limitation brain dump, prioritizing them, and then beginning to take a look at what really is the shit you need to get past.
I think for me, after yesterday's session, it was understanding that there really are a couple of layers. One of them is what we hit on yesterday that I need to, and I've already got on my list. First thing to do was to start the process of finding somebody. Because it's not going to be as easy as saying it is, because otherwise I'd have done it 4 years ago when Chrissy got out of school.
Yeah.
But from there, I really think that I believe that I got to start moving in order to discover what the rest of the things really are, whether they're just things that I've used as excuses or whether they're actually things I need help with. I won't know till I start. Yeah. So my list, I'm trying to ignore my shit stuff that's on, and now how do I say this? I'm trying to ignore the personal things that may or may not actually exist and go for the list of stuff I want to work on and see what comes up. That's what I'm going to do. That's how I'm going to handle it.
Awesome.
Just try to bypass that whole pile of shit.
Well, exactly. The way back in, I think it was 2018 or really early 2019 in Momentum Coaching Mastermind, this whole concept of shit came up. Fears, insecurities, and dust-jailed programming. And one of the things that we did is we just wrote it all down. We took a piece of paper and we wrote our shit on it. And some of the things that I wrote down is that, I'm too fat to be successful. All my self-judgments, I just wrote it down, and I'm such an anti-hoarder. I don't still have it. It takes a lot for me to keep something, but I had this crazy idea. I have a bunch of shrinky dink paper from my kids, my grandkids, to play with. At the time, it was my nieces and nephews. So I took a piece of shrinky dink paper and I wrote the words, all the shit that I had that was in my way, and then I shrunk it so that it was little card size. And then I said, now I'm gonna just put it in my back pocket and go get it done. It's just
That's brilliant.
It was a ceremonial process of saying, yeah, this exists, but it's behind me. I'm putting it in my back pocket. I know I can't escape it. I'm still fat. It is what it is. I am who I am. I still do what I want to do. Good morning, Tisha. But yeah, the whole point of building a shit list and then beginning to address the shit list is to understand it's not going anywhere. Some crappy circumstances do ultimately resolve, but some don't. When we talk a lot about caregivers yesterday, Terry being a caregiver and Lisa being a caregiver, my stepfather passed away 2 years ago. that last year or so, there was a lot of responsibilities and running around and unexpected delays, and it is what it is. It's like nothing about it. I didn't want anything about it to change. I didn't want to lose my stepfather. you know, but when Sweet Pete finally passed, you know, that last 3 days I stayed at his side. Everything else, nothing else mattered because, you know, this is his last days and I want to be here. and then all of a sudden my life opened up so huge because I didn't have to take care of his needs anymore. Like sometimes things change and you do get time back, but we don't usually want to. We don't usually want to.
That's one of those things that I actually find I have to be very careful with, because I believe you speak into existence your reality.
Mhm.
And I have to be careful that I want to find a solution. I don't want to solve the problem, because to me, I am so, you know, suspect of those things. So yeah, that's good reminder there too.
Yeah. Well, so what we're gonna, did anyone else have a aha or question about anything we have talked about so far that you would just really like to speak to today? Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to tackle some topics that I believe help us get past our shit when we lean into them. So the first page is fixed versus growth mindset. And there's just a lot of space there for you to take notes if you want to. What I want to do is just, I think that this is an important topic to talk about when you are dealing with your shit. A fixed mindset basically says, this is who I am and I can't do anything about it. A moment ago, I said, well, I'm still fat. I am who I am. That's not me having a fixed mindset. That's me having a realistic a realistic expectation of being almost 57 years old. And, you know, I'm always going to be a chubby nana. You know, I would like to carry less weight. I would like to be more vital. I would like all of those things, but I'm not going to, definitely not going to wake up as a Barbie doll. So when limiting thoughts come up about my body, I process them and put them in my back pocket because I'm going to live my life anyways. Being chubby nana does not disqualify me from all the good things in life. But a fixed mindset will say, this is who I am who I am, take me or leave me, this is how I've always been, this is how I always be. A fixed mindset is almost as if you feel like it's written in stone. A growth mindset said, this is how I have been, now what? Some of the things that I have said about myself with a straight face is that I'm not a people person. I have said with all seriousness, I don't like to be touched. I'm not a hugger. I'm not a joiner. I just don't feel that. I just don't feel the way other people feel about these things. None of that was true, but it sure felt true at the time. Growing up in an abusive household, feeling like people aren't safe and that nobody really cares. I really did. I withdrew inside. I put up huge walls. And because my ego couldn't bear to feel the pain of more rejection, I just said, I don't like people. I'm not a people person. I don't want to be touched. Please leave me alone. I'm not a joiner. It was a self-protective mechanism. Here's what's so interesting about ego is that it's pretty damn convincing. There's something you believe about yourself right now that you think it's the real you. There's something, and I have no idea what it might be. But there's a belief you hold that you think it's at the center of my being, that this is true about me. And it isn't. It's ego construction. It's some pattern that protected you, but you think, I am who I am. It is what it is. It's never going to change. The reason I want to bring up fixed versus growth mindset is that as you play with your shit, as you play with all your fears and insecurities, fixed mindset thoughts will come up. Ego will say, well, we've always been this way. It works. It works for me. I've never wanted that anyways. You know, ego will just come up and say a lot of fixed mindset things because ego just wants to protect us. Ego doesn't want us to face our shit and take a baby step past it because it might hurt. So it's just going to keep pulling you back to what's your limiting perspectives that have protected you so far. Tisha brought up public speaking. 10 years ago, Tisha had a fixed mindset about public speaking, that she hates public speaking. She can't public speak. Public speaking is utterly terrifying, and she'll never, ever, ever do it. But Tisha has spoken public a few times. And while it's still true that it's scary as fuck, she does not have a fixed mindset about it. She has a growth mindset of it. That I used to be terrified, but now I've tried it. And even though it's scary, I still want to do it again. We are, at whatever age we are, always growing. We are not set in stone. No element of us is set in stone. We are always growing. The question is, where do you want to grow? When ego throws up the little cluster bombs of fixed mindset thoughts that say this is who you are and this is all you've ever been and all you ever will be, to play curiously, well, what if I'm not? What if I am something different? What if I could completely redefine something about myself today? What would it look like? What would it feel like? And feel for the excitement in it. Oh, let me tell you what, ladies, I have done things in the last 2 months that I never in a million years thought I would ever do. And I can only do it because I'm growing. I'm growing and changing and willing to try something new. Good morning, Lisa. So, fixed mindset versus growth mindset. I want you, when you are dealing with your shit, when a fixed mindset thought comes up of this is who I've always been and I'll never change, it's too late to change now, things like that, just come back to this and jot something down about what is it? What is that? What triggered ego? Trickster, ego, we talked about Trickster's triangle on a morning call recently. I don't know. When we talk about ego, fears, insecurity, dust yield program, essence being curiosity, creativity, surprise, delight. Ego has three sides: villain, victim, hero. When ego gets triggered, meaning it feels the need to overprotect, it takes on one of those voices, either blaming, rescuing, or whining. When ego gets triggered, just notice what was happening when ego got triggered. What triggered trickster? What was going on? What was I thinking about doing? That's what you want to come back and jot down, because that's like fodder for great coaching conversations. Any thoughts or questions about fixed versus growth mindset? Terry said, one of my fixed beliefs is that I believe that my only value comes in direct proportion to what I do for others. Logically, I know that isn't true. Perhaps it's time to change that. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it fascinating, Terry, that ego has designed that thought in you, that your value comes from what you do for others. And yet there is a human in your life who cannot serve others.
It's an interesting point you make, because I never judge her for what she's not able to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, yeah, interesting. And I can pinpoint even the point in my life when that thought became an overdriving. It was my overdriving motive of being protected, because they needed me if I did stuff for them, so they would keep me safe.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In a world that wasn't safe.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the youngest in my family, and my siblings, my sister's 10 years older, my brother's, my sister, I have a bunch of them. Like, there's 6 of us. My sister's 10 years older. My one brother is 12 years older, and they all had kids at the same time. So when I'm 12, 13, they've got 2 or 3-year-olds. Babysitting got me out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a hell yes, I'm the babysitter. I say yes every single time. And that meeting a need helps me, was a big message that I got and carried into my adult life. The hero, being the hero, saving the day, I got this, that just became such a huge part of who I was. And it's interesting because there's a word, conflated. Are you familiar with the word? It's an important one. Conflated. Two problems or any two things that get squished together, conflated. When I look it up, the dictionary says, as an example, the urban crisis conflates a number of different economic and social issues. Yes. Ego and essence get conflated, because it is true. My essence wants to help. My essence is drawn into honesty and vulnerability. My essence wants to love on you. My ego wants to rescue you. make it all better. Soothe the tears, put a smile on your face. They get conflated. And one of the beautiful works of understanding, really diving deep into ego and essence, is picking them apart. There's a classic example we use in coaching and radical leadership. If you notice when things got emotional yesterday, that I didn't panic about the emotion, right? If we were together in a group, if we were sitting around in a cozy living room having that conversation, and you were to have become overwhelmed and started to cry, I would have had the same reaction. I would have calmly sat in my seat and let you experience your emotions. Now, well, let's see if this breaks your brain. I would not myself nor let anyone else give you a tissue. Does that freak you out? What does giving you a tissue say? Dry your tears, honey.
Says it's okay. Yeah.
Your emotion is okay. Your tears are okay. And you're a grown-ass woman, and if you want a Kleenex, you'd ask for it. So I'm going to sit in my seat, and I'm going to trust you to tell us if you need something. I'm not going to by word or action suggest that we're uncomfortable with your tears or want to fix your tears or want to move on. So I'm not going to offer you a tissue. I'm not going to come over and hug you yet. Because the group is there to hold you. The group is there to hold a little space for you to experience some pain safely. The conflation of it is ego. Ego says, quick, get her a tissue, quick, give her a hug, quick, make her laugh, put a smile on her face so that I can feel better for just a minute. Because it's uncomfortable to watch someone else's pain. Essence, on the other hand, knows well what that pain is like and just holds space for it to be there. Because look what happened when nobody rescued you. Look what happened inside of Terry. Terry knew what her next step was. Did you feel taken care of or rescued yesterday?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel I didn't feel rescued.
Mm-hmm.
I felt safe.
And tell me, looking back at it, does it feel powerful to know you did that? You held your space. You spotted your next baby step.
Well, and I didn't back off, which is normal, because that's, I think, a lot of where I consider my ADHD, distraction, squirrel stuff, I think is distracting me from feeling the next thing. And, I'm a person that believes if I can live, when Chrissy was a baby, especially when I was pregnant, I would only leave home when I could talk about it. And the reason for that was because I felt she was here for a purpose. It needed to be expressed. I need to be able to do that. But also would feel bad when I would share it. It would make people sad. And then I realized if I can live through it, they can hear about it and they can survive it. And so that whole idea of processing emotion is something I really believe in, but I do hide from my own. Mm-hmm. You should process your emotion, but I tend to hide from mine. So it was very powerful, and
Yeah.
it shined a new light on things.
Mm-hmm. Well, the hero, the person who's going through really heavy circumstances, and by circumstances, like that includes everything, you know, the people in your life, your home, your health, everything. People are living through very intense, difficult circumstances. You know, if they have hero tendencies, they will not share everything with others because they don't think other people can handle it. Only they can handle it. And if they do, if you do take a chance and share something heavy with someone, the minute that they show discomfort, you then comfort them. Like, well, don't worry about it. It's going to be okay. Like, I got this.
Yeah,
like,
you tell them it's okay when it's not.
Yeah, that's that hero energy. The hero side of ego is afraid that no one else is powerful enough. So I have to be powerful enough. So you literally pack your backpack so full of weight because you're the only one who can. And you protect everyone else around you from feeling that weight. And you know, what happens between us, Terry, is that I'm that hero who has put the backpack down, and I can look at the backpack on your shoulders and not want to take it from you. I understand only you can put it down. And when you open it up and show me things inside, I can stand there right with you and breathe through that discomfort to say, yep, I can handle it. I see all that. Like, whew, you know, that's the great invitation one hero can be to another. And then to demonstrate to you that I so see your powerful nature. I so see your capacity for holding it all. And I want to be an invitation that you can perceive great need and not pick it up. All right, let's go to the next page. The next topic. Practice profound acceptance of yourself. Profound. What does that word mean to you? Profound. A state, quality, or emotion very great or intense. A person or statement having or showing great knowledge or insight. A profound philosopher. The vast depth of the ocean or of the mind. Profound acceptance of yourself. What Darlene, what would it mean to you to profoundly accept yourself?
Well, for me, it would mean being able to accept the totality of myself, which would mean the good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between. Sometimes, I would want to focus on the good, which of course is good, but then minimize the bad and hide the bad and not be vulnerable. So accepting yourself profoundly would mean for me also accepting and maybe even highlighting those vulnerable parts, because it means that I'm then getting comfortable with with who I am, at my deepest core, which includes strengths and weaknesses. There's nobody that's 100% strong and doesn't have any weaknesses or any vulnerabilities. But as I was hearing you describe the hero personality, I tend to have that, to think I'm the strong one. I'm the one that's going to help everybody out. I'm the one that's going to carry the load. But then who is there for me? And how do I handle my own weak moments? So accepting myself means I also need to be able to accept help from other people and be vulnerable with other people as well. And I'm not as good at doing that.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. Do you have some examples?
Well, I think I can be very controlling, because I want this to happen. This is how it needs to happen. And it needs to happen yesterday. So I can tend to be maybe very controlling, but with a good purpose, with a good intent. Not that I'm trying to be domineering over anybody. I'm just like, look, we need to get this done, and this is what needs to happen, which again might be some of that hero tendencies, because I might think the way I want to do it is the best way, it's the most practical way, it's the quickest way, but maybe the way somebody else wants to do it is equally good or maybe even better. So just having that kind of domineering attitude, I think sometimes is something that needs to be fine-tuned a little bit, that doesn't allow me to, like you said, just let somebody else put their load down. Let them see what they need to do to resolve their situation. I don't always have to be the fixer, the one trying to fix everything and take care of everything, and just let my ego get out of the way and help them become their own hero if possible.
Yeah. What is the culture like where you live in regards to strong women? Is controlling and domineering a bad thing?
No, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that's very dominant in our culture, but I think in my case, it takes on extra meaning because I'm the second in my family, and from very young, I had to take care of myself. So I'm not accustomed of depending on others or relying on others. I was always the one taking charge from very, very young. So I even tend to get a little bit impatient, or maybe even a lot impatient with people who I think they're too laid back, they're too relaxed. I have a young niece now who's 21, and I'm always telling her, when I was 21, when I was your age, I had this and this and this and this, so that kind of attitude sometimes. And I was reading something the other day, and it was saying, you don't want to create a controlling environment. You want to create a nurturing environment. Just nurture the person and help them to become the powerful person that that they can be.
Yes.
But trying to beat them into becoming that person, or trying to demand that they become that person on your terms or on your time schedule, it doesn't work. It can't work, because they're not you. They have a total different set of circumstances than you had when you were at that age. Their background is different. My niece lost her mom and her dad, when her mom when she was 13, and her dad when I think she was 19. I still have my mom and my dad. So that dynamic alone makes her a totally different person than I would have been at her age. But learning not to try to control the person, but to nurture the person, that was like a real eye opener for me. And I feel like that's the same thing that what you're saying, trying to distinguish between the hero and the ego and the essence, it's that kind of conflict.
Yeah. So when we look at this from the practice profound acceptance of yourself, I'm very controlling. I am bossy. I think I'm right. And I think you should think I'm right. And I'm willing to argue with you about it, because I need to be right. That was my perspective. I now have a new perspective of I could be wrong. I think I'm right, but I could be wrong. Like, but practicing profound acceptance of yourself was first of all, like, to just pause for a moment and just really feel it. Like, I'm a powerful woman. I like to control things. I have plans. I just wish everyone would fall in, do what I want. I accept this about myself. And so what? Now what? Like, how's it working for me? Does being a bull in a china shop, trying to control everything, create what I want? Nah, not really. So what do I want to try now? That is practicing profound acceptance of myself, to just acknowledge this is what's happening here. I want to be in charge. And I see that I'm not creating what I want, without any judgment. At no point does this turn around into, you shouldn't be controlling. You shouldn't be this confident. You shouldn't be a strong, powerful woman. No, I am. You are. Everyone here, fuck, guys. You wouldn't be in my circle if you weren't a strong, powerful woman. So starting with just practicing that profound acceptance of yourself, to say, I want to be in charge. I want to fix it. I want to make everything better. And now what? I love that, that whatever messages have been getting through to you about being more nurturing versus more controlling. Because your strength and power can be an invitation to your niece when it is not accompanied by finger pointing, blaming, and judging. Practicing profound acceptance of myself. What do you not want to accept about yourself at this stage of life? Stephanie, Tisha, anybody? What do you not want to accept about yourself?
So what pops up for me is being selfish.
This is a throwback to wanting more travel and water time?
Yeah, and just, I mean, I've had a few people tell me that I'm very self-centered and selfish. So, I mean, that's always kind of stuck in my head.
So practicing profound acceptance of yourself is just saying, I'm more selfish than the average bear. Right?
Mm-hmm. But that
Or
feels icky.
or is it accepting that people think you're selfish?
I think it has more to do with just accepting the fact that there's people out there that think I'm selfish.
You have abundance in your life, in that you have had quite a lot of travel this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's abundant travel. Flying to Michigan for a week, the vacation that you had with Haima in September, all the trips to the water. What else have you done this year? Was there other things?
No, just lots of trips to the beach.
And last year, wasn't it Hawaii?
No, Hawaii was 2019.
Wasn't that long ago?
Yes.
Wow. Um, damn. What can you profoundly accept about yourself that other people think you're selfish?
I think I'm just getting in my head about this because there's the part of me that says, being selfish is bad. And then there's the part of me that there are times that I'm selfish when it's about, I have like a need that needs to be met. So, for example, I live with 4 guys, three guys, sorry. And even though one of them is my fiance, there is a point that I reach where I have just had enough and I need quiet time. I need, to just like decompress from all the constant noise in this house. So it feels like I'm being selfish when I tell my man I need a day or two away. But that also feels like good because it's taking care of a need that I have.
Yeah. You have a profound need to experience the water.
Mm-hmm.
It's from my perspective, it's a really beautiful thing that let me ask just out of curiosity, what would be different if you didn't get any of that travel this year? No trips to the ocean or any water, no vacation, and you didn't just come to Michigan for a week.
I would be a miserable bitch. Like I would be moody. I would be just uptight on edge. I would be snapping at everybody and everyone. Yeah, I would not be a pleasant person.
So do you accept that you're just not a hermit?
Oh yeah.
You're in it, you require travel for joy.
Yeah, I can definitely accept that.
Knowing that if you don't, so if I'm always putting my hand on my heart, I am, so Tisha, at your very heart, you need travel, you need time by the water, you need time alone, you need total decompression, you need to give yourself that priority every so often, or shit gets bad.
Yes.
You profoundly accept that about yourself.
1000%.
Is that selfish?
No.
Is that your survival pattern?
Yes.
Is that your successful survival pattern?
Yes.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Self-preservation.
Someone on the outside of you who looks at that successful survival pattern and says, well, she's selfish. One of two things. Those things aren't part of their successful survival pattern. There are people who never travel. They never go anywhere. They take vacations and they stay at home and they putter in their backyard. They don't even go to the zoo in their own town. Like, they do not want to travel. So they look at you and they might go, you know, how ridiculous that she needs this stuff. But then the other person that's calling you selfish is the one who wants it. They want to travel too, but they don't let themselves. They don't accept the loving gestures of somebody else helping them get their travel. So they're jealous. So yeah. To profoundly accept about you that you need this, that this is part of your successful survival pattern, is that you travel and you spend time by water. You know, that sparks curiosity for me about how about the rest of them? How about the rest of us? What are our successful survival patterns, you know, that other people might judge?
For me, I need time to myself. So I just withdraw. I totally admire Tish. I think she's awesome. You know, that she can say in no uncertain terms, I need time. I need time away. I think it's self-preservation. I think that's powerful. And if other people can't understand that, it could be like Kelly is saying, they're jealous, or they just have another survival pattern. Everybody is different. But for me, I need something similar like that. I just need to withdraw to myself. I can be on the beach. I can be home in my own room reading a book. I can be in the backyard. I just need to be away from people to re-energize myself and to just come to peace with myself. And then I can go back out in the world again. If I don't get that, then I start displaying the things that Tish was talking about. I get moody, I get irritable, I get snappy, because I'm depleting myself and I'm not getting an opportunity to refresh and re-energize and rejuvenate myself from within. And if I know exactly what I need to do that and I deprive myself of that, then I don't think that's a good thing. So I really like that Tish is saying, I recognize that this is what I need. And I'm going to make sure to give myself that on a consistent, regular basis. I try to do the same thing. I think that's powerful.
I need, self-directed time. If my calendar gets too full, if the grandkids are my responsibility too much, if I have too many errands to run and too many people waiting for something from me, it edges out my self-directed, self-autonomy time. And I will get edgier and edgier and crispier and crispier. And, you know, my grandchildren, who can do no wrong most of the time, like the 3-year-old is my barometer for when I'm getting crispy, because I get to where I actually feel like snapping, you know, like, because reset repeats everything. Nana, want to play, want to play, want to play, want to play. Nana, want to play, want to play, want to play. And, you know, if I'm good, if I'm even, if I've had lots of self-directed time, then I can be patient when he's doing it and I haven't had enough. And it's just like, Reese, stop. And he's like, but do you want to play? Like, he's still 3. He's not stopping.
He says, I cannot assist your profound acceptance of yourself, Nana.
Yeah. I need the self-directed time. This has always been true way back at the beginning of my business. When I went from working part-time on my business to doing it full-time, I filled my schedule and then quickly realized, ooh, this is a mistake. I still need downtime. But that desire for self-directed time over the years has expanded to create more and more self-autonomy, in that I let go of some business partnerships because I don't want to collaborate and cooperate on every little decision. I just want to decide it for myself. That was a huge moment of practicing profound acceptance of myself, to just say, I just want autonomy. And it feels at this point in my life like an extremely necessary arc of letting go of partnerships and codependent friendships, so that I can have more and more self-autonomy, so that I can come back around to a place where I might be willing to share some of my life with somebody else. And, you know, if I were still in all those partnerships, I still wouldn't be dating. Because I've always thought, you know, my downtime is my time. My downtime, when there's nothing a client needs, when there's nothing a partner needs, when there's nothing an affiliate needs, when there's nothing that anyone else needs, that's my downtime. Who's got time for another human in there? So I'm redesigning my business so that I have more self-directed, self-autonomy time. I accept that about myself. Similar to Tisha, there's some people who think that that's real selfish. I can't do anything about what they think. Practicing acceptance of yourself is a huge part of beginning to get past your shit. It doesn't just mean accepting the bad things about yourself. It means accepting the good things about yourself too. And it's the peeling apart of it, because some of those things, you know, some things that people say to you, like as if it were a negative, is actually your superpower. So you got to peel away the ego judgment of it, so that you can feel how it helps you create something amazing. My mother used to call me lazy all the time when I was young. And I still don't know what it was about, because I was an extremely active child. And I never wanted to be home. So I was always riding my bike or climbing a tree, playing basketball with neighbor, you know, but she always called me lazy. And so I think I had a bit of a fear of being perceived as lazy, especially as a bigger woman. Fear of being perceived as lazy. I do always find the smoother path. This whole question of what if it were easy is a direct superpower flip of worrying that people think I'm lazy. Some people are so worried about being perceived as lazy that they just keep themselves busy all the time. And I do not. I don't. I avoid busy like the plague. I profoundly accept that I like things to be easy. That I can't be in relationship with someone who needs it to be hard. I profoundly accept that I don't want to work hard. I'm willing to hustle for a little while, but because it'll make something else easy down the road. All right. We're coming up almost 2 o'clock. Thank you for spending this time with me today. See, it was easy breezy, wasn't it? Easy topics. These are topics for you to just chew on and play with as you continue to mess with your shit. These are ideas that help put shit behind you. So have a wonderful afternoon. I'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. More ideas that help us get past our shit. Bye.